Hi, everyone. How's it going?
Hey there, how are you?
Good, good. Hi, Nick.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good. Good to see you. Hey, Dana. Let's see.
Hey.
I know that John's going to be joining soon. So he was coming from another meeting. So we'll just give him just a second. Thanks for everybody's flexibility on the virtual meeting. I appreciate it. Just responding to, we got a lot going on this week.
Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay.
You're a little fuzzy. Yeah. I think you're frozen, Dana. Okay. I bet Dana will be back. Let's see. I'm going to change this to my name. There she is.
There. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
You can hear me?
Yes. Yes. You got a little fuzzy there for a minute.
Sorry, I'm in the car and my off and on.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, I know that
I'm gonna
John
be home in like 5 minutes, so I'll rejoin when I get home too.
Okay. Cool. All right. I just sent John a text to ask. I knew he was gonna be kind of tight. So we do have one item that requires a vote. Well, two items, the minutes, as always. So let me see if hopefully he gets back to me.
Do we have quorum without him?
We do. So we could move on. Yeah, we could definitely do that if you want.
If he's going to be just a few minutes, we can wait. But if he's tied up
Right.
with something, we can.
Yeah, he's not writing me back, so we can probably get started. I can see all of you. Well, here, why don't we get started with a fun part of the meeting, which is I have but you guys do have quorum as long as we have 3 people, because the total is 5. So but here we'll start with something fun, which is that we have a new team member. Simon, do you want to turn on your camera for a second? Oh, that's the wrong side.
Yep, I don't know what's going on there. There we go.
Hi, Simon.
Hello, I am a keyboard. There we go.
Hey, there he is.
So this is Simon's second day. So we were able to get him this week so that he could experience a few of our committee meetings and our staff holiday event. So kind of get him a chance to meet everybody. But he's going to be our workforce development specialist. He is going to specialize in board support. So things like minutes and packets and helping us communicate more effectively with you guys, which I think will be great. And he is going to help with things like state and federal reporting, which will be very nice.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, and hopefully a little bit of research too to make sure that we are following best practices. So, Simon, do you want to tell them a little bit about what you're up to with school and some of your past experience?
Sure. So I previously was an AmeriCorps Vista, working at the Brighton Center with the Safety Net Alliance. So that's where I feel like I've gotten a lot of experience in what I'll be doing in this job. I was also an intern at the City of Covington. And right now I'm getting my graduate degree in an MPA program at NKU. I've got one semester left till graduation, so I'm counting down till I'm finally done being a student, probably.
Probably. I like that. Very
Well,
cool.
welcome. Welcome, Simon. It's good to have you.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So this is his first committee meeting, and then we have executive committee tomorrow.
First is the best. First is the best.
Definitely. Well, they're all interesting kind of in their own ways. And I will say also, I think it's interesting that every committee kind of has its own sort of vibe, which I like. So you guys especially have a very nice vibe. So all right. So I'm not sure what's up with John. It's not, oh, look at that. There he is. Perfect. All
Mr.
right.
Baines in the house.
I think it says he's joining. Let's see. There he is.
Oh, there he is. Okay. Hi. There he is.
Hey guys, sorry about that.
No worries. I told we killed time by you didn't get a chance to really meet Simon, but you'll get to hear his bio tomorrow. So he is our new hire, and he will be assisting me in the future with things like minutes, which is awesome.
All right.
Hello.
So if you want to, oh, and Kimberly's able to join too. Awesome. Look at this full house. Perfect. So you definitely have a quorum, Mr. Chair, if you want to move ahead.
Nah, let's not do that.
We can just hang out. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Well, Tara and I have been scrambling lately, so
True
I certainly
statement.
feel a little ill-prepared. I know she's had some trouble getting documents out. But I would say the highlight for today's meeting is going to be to discuss our member grid.
Yeah. We do have one new nomination, which is exciting too.
That's right. Okay. Well, let's look at the member grid first to anchor the discussion, and we can talk about the nomination into that.
Can we approve the minutes from the last meeting super quick? I think I ended
Sure.
up being able to send those.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
So moved.
Okay, Anna.
And a second?
Second.
It's Kimberly, second. All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
All right. Any opposed? Sorry. Nope, didn't think so. All right. Motion carries.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, I have not the greatest internet here. You can see I'm in a nondescript box, so.
Yes.
So I didn't see the agenda come through yet.
Okay. I thought I forwarded it, but it's been kind of a weird day. So I maybe didn't, but I thought I did. So the agenda, next on the agenda is Joe Berkeley nomination and then the grid.
Okay. Well, like I said, let's jump to the grid first, and then we can
Okay.
talk about where Joe fits into this, and just so we understand kind of the overall landscape.
Yep, absolutely. And I can pull up the grid to share as well on the screen. So 1 sec. So I can kind of start digging into this. So just as a reminder, we were doing great. We were doing really well in all seriousness. And unfortunately, we have just had a series of individuals that have had things happen in their own work life that have led them to have to leave the board recently. So most recently, if you have not heard yet, Very sad to report that Jamie Parsons has moved back to Tennessee. So, yeah. so-
Wow.
I know. Yeah. So that's really, really tough. Yeah, I know. So, okay, I just got this open. So let me dive in here and I'll share my screen.
So he left St. Elizabeth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's gone from St. E.
My
Oh,
understanding is that he has already gone. If he is not already, it's like imminent. So
man.
I know. Yeah. I sent him an email and it actually bounced back. So that's my reasoning for thinking that he is officially
Yeah.
gone. But
Yeah.
that could have been a fluke, I guess. But yeah, he had called me. It really wasn't very long ago, like just a couple of weeks ago, and said that he was leaving. And I thought that I was gonna get like some more, another time to connect with him. And then unfortunately, we did not. It sounds like it happened pretty quick. He said he put things in motion to sell their house and they thought, we'll just kind of see. And then their house sold in like 24 hours. So,
Yeah. Not surprised.
yeah, yeah.
So
So
I'm
anyway,
Sorry, Tara. I'm gonna jump and then join on my computer. I'm home. So just
Okay.
carry on. I'll be right back.
okay. So with Jamie, so just as a reminder, so Jamie Johnson departed in September. And then Kevin Bonhouse from Mubia and Lisa Morris from NAS in Carroll County. So each of them just had, personal circumstances. And then we had Jamie leave. So that knocks us down from where we need to be at 51% of the board being from the employer community to 48.39%. And so that's a problem.
So we really just need to find employer folks
Yes.
that are willing to join the board, right?
I have one caveat to that. Dr. Rob Stafford from Owen County, he's the superintendent down there. His term expires June 30 of 2022. And he has indicated to me that he would like to go ahead and leave early.
All
So
right.
he would like to do that because just pressing matters on his time. He's not changing positions or anything like everybody else has been. He's had a real hard time attending meetings recently. He's missed a lot just in the past several months. And so he was very nice. He said he would stay on as long as he needed to, but that he would like to go ahead and roll off. And so a process was started actually at the last meeting of this committee to go ahead with recruitment of somebody that was recommended by Randy Poe. He's the former superintendent in Boone County, and he's the executive director now of the Northern Kentucky Education Council. So
All right. So we have 3 employer-based positions that we have to find, right? And then
potentially 4. I mean, we've lost 4 people on the employer side. I mean, in
We need
terms
2
of
to be
just,
compliant.
right, 2 to be compliant. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, 2 to be compliant.
And Dr. or Robert Stafford, that is offset, is it not, by Joe Berkeley?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But just to confirm, like Joe Berkeley wouldn't throw the numbers off any further because Rob Stafford wants to come off.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the issue at present is we're out of compliance.
Correct.
And we are able to be briefly out of compliance as we're fixing that, but it's not a long rope. So
correct.
We really need to look at what that is. So I want to go back and revisit the leads that we talked about last time and just see where we stand relative to those conversations.
Yep. So Carroll County, I've talked to a number of individuals there. I talked to Judge Tomlinson, Judge Exec for Carroll County about that. He just wanted Lisa back. Like, that's not gonna work. So I need to contact Heather Yoakum. That's another idea I just had today with Jefferson Community and Technical College, and see if she has a suggestion, because she's the staff person for the a consortium of employers down there called Future 42. They're all along US 42 there in Carroll and Gallatin County. I have reached out to a couple of business leads, Nucor being the primary one. They said they were busy until January. So Michelle Sesteric, I talked to her about this, and she is gonna personally reach out to Nucor and see if she might be able to make greater inroads, which would be great. There's a few businesses down there. So there's Gallatin Steel, there's Nucor. So two of our members who have left were in Carroll County and Gallatin County. So between the two counties, we've got Nucor, Gallatin Steel, KU, it's Kentucky Utilities, sorry. North American Stainless, which is where Lisa was, Dow, and a few others. Those are just the ones that come to mind. So I was trying to go company by company. That's not really been going great. Unfortunately, our relationships down there have really suffered recently, and we've been working with Brighton Center to try to repair some of that damage. But this is kind of showing how much we need to just get directly involved as a WIB staff, which we have been doing, but it's slow going, fixing relationships that aren't there. So last time we asked the Brighton Center staff to recommend someone, and they did a very nice job in recommending Lisa. But this time they haven't had any ideas. So I think talking to Heather Yoakum at JCTC is probably going to be a good move. And then hopefully, maybe in addition to Michelle Sesteric's lead with Nucor might pan out. So that's kind of those two counties sort of wrapped up into one update.
Yeah, so sorry if I missed this, but will one business person put us at our 51%? We need to. Okay.
We need to. Yeah. Yeah. And then we had talked last time, I can scroll down here so that you, hold on, I can scroll over. So this, I'm going to try to fit this all on one. Okay. It just barely fits. So as you can see, we are currently down to one advanced manufacturer and one healthcare provider. Now, the thought is that as soon as Jamie Parsons' replacement was, back in their office, I mean, I think we need somebody from St. Elizabeth personally. Yeah. So my thought is that that would go back up to 2, because hopefully one of those spots will be refilled by St. Elizabeth. So looking at, other areas where we don't have a lot, it seems to me urgent that we get some more advanced manufacturing companies. And that's what we had talked about last time. And we talked about getting Mubea just back on board and, filling that position that was previously held by Kevin.
Yes.
Yeah, Kimberly, you want to talk about that a little bit? I know it's been a little hard to get in touch with them.
Yeah, so I reached out to Deborah Ramirez, who's their, I believe she's the head of HR, but I have not heard back from her. I do know she was on a somewhat long vacation in Mexico. So I don't know if she's just digging out of being gone, but I've emailed her and called her. She can be somewhat, just between us, a little bit hard to get in touch with. So I don't know if that's an indicator that it may be hard to get engagement from her on the board. Although I do think that in terms of, how many employees they have and what a presence they have, I mean, I think that she would have a good insight for the board, but I will keep trying unless you all want me to back off. So
I think something that we've done in the past, Kimberly, is to kind of use the language of we're seeking nominations, so that we can kind of have multiple irons in the fire, if you will, at any given time. The only other company that I was just sort of wondering about, I'm sure that there's plenty of other ones that you you know, that you work with and that we sort of work with. I wondered about, you know, like a company like Safran or some other, you know, organizations that maybe you've kind of had a lot of interaction with, if you had any thoughts about maybe one of them.
Yeah, I think Saffron would be great. I work mostly with their plant manager. He's usually very willing to talk, but I know he's got some really good HR people as well. I'm drawing a blank on their names because I don't work as directly with them. So I think they could be a good ask. Trying to think of who else from, you know, do you want HR specific type roles, or is it okay to have an operations or plant manager type role in the position?
Yes, so the way that the bylaws are written, it needs to be somebody that has decision-making ability. And hiring is, you know, a big piece of that, obviously, for the workforce side. If you kind of look through some of these titles over here in column D, you know, there's a variety. So personally, I think a plant manager, if that was somebody who was able to kind of speak to, you know, issues with the workforce piece, I think that would be very reasonable. I think it's going to be different. A plant manager is going to be different from company to company. So, you know,
Yeah, sorry,
In
Tara,
general, though, I think the
I
plant
think-
manager is going to be really, really frustrated by the lack of progress and structure and sort of execution that happens.
yeah.
I think the bigger issue is it really needs to be somebody who can participate and be engaged and attend meetings.
Yeah.
So I would say then I don't work with some of on the workforce side as much with the companies. It is more with the plant managers, although I think, you know, a call to Philippe with Safford and say, you know, we're looking for nominations, somebody who's, you know, really is involved day to day on workforce, and he would recommend who that would be from his team. Same with some of a few others. I just don't know, like personally, I don't know them. So I don't want to, you know, say, yes, this would be a great nomination when I don't work as directly with them. But let me come back to me. Let me look. I'm going to look at something real quick while we're chatting.
What's our sales pitch for being on the web? Because if somebody's not been engaged and don't know really,
Yeah.
we have to present it that this is your opportunity to have a voice at the table. So I don't know what we typically say when we're recruiting. I mean, you know, usually people kind of want to join us, but we're in a unique situation where, you know, we've had all these exits happen, and just
Right.
You know, it happens that way. But I mean, so do we have a standard?
I made a one pager for Kimberly to share with Ms. Ramirez, of just kind of like some of the, I don't know if it was the most like salesy, but you know, I think just to be really candid, we have these dollars. Do you want to make sure they're spent in a way that you think is the most impactful?
Yeah. So I'm thinking about like the plant manager. We got to make it worth that person's while to pull them off the floor, right? They have to feel like there's skin in the game. And so how do we relate that to, I mean, we'd have to relate it back to his or her workforce, right? And
right.
how it impacts them.
And that's how I tried to pitch it to Deborah through voicemail and email as eloquently as you can when you can't have a conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
Really pitching it more as like, this would be her opportunity to help shape the, you know, the strategic vision of what we want our workforce to be for the community, which, you know, ultimately at the end of the day is going to help her, you know, recruit people for Mubia. So I do agree that it, you know, again, should definitely be more of that HR decision maker focus, but I just need to kind of look through and say, okay, have we worked with the Saffron HR person, you know, as well as the general manager, and would
Yeah.
that be a good role? So,
Yeah, and I'm not opposed to a manager. I think it would probably provide some good insight, direct insight to the workforce. Just those things to consider, that they may or may not necessarily be able to get away to attend meetings and things like that. That's the only thing that I think we need to make sure we're considering.
and that's what I'm a little, you know, nervous about on the, I mean, even with Deborah, the capacity side, you know, I mean, they have so many open positions, and they're just, I mean, they're putting out fires more than being able to spend a lot of time thinking, you know, more forward thinking and strategically. So I'm afraid that will be the hurdle with some of them, just given the landscape right now. But I'll keep, you know, I'll follow up with her again, and then, like I said, I'm going to look through some of our list here. You know, for like, I'm thinking too, has Mazak been involved in the past? I mean,
I'm
they're
sure that they have been involved in the past, but not the past 2 years.
You
I
know,
was thinking about
that
Mazak
could be really
too.
interesting though, because Bill Weir has just joined Mazak. He
In what-
was the head, he was director of HR at Phoebe's.
okay.
And he and I served on the WIB together.
The Kentucky
And I ran
Web.
into him at the Gateway event when President Paul Zarnota,
Zarapata.
thank you. Zarnota was my high school science teacher. When he was doing his listening tour with Lisa Desmaris, I ran into Bill there. So he and I have been emailing back and forth a little bit. That actually might be a good fit, because he's operating more as a strategic level and helping to look overall from that pipeline standpoint. And they're doing really well right now, is what he was saying. Like, they've really turned the corner. So
I think that'd be great. There's such a good.
I can reach out to him again, because he and I are due for another reconnect.
I was thinking about Mazak earlier today. I think it would be good to get them re-engaged.
Yeah, that would be great, John. How do you spell his last name?
Weier, I believe. Let me pull it up in my contacts.
Okay. I feel like there's a lot of different ways that you could move those vowels around, so I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's Bill Weir, Weier.
Great. Cool.
And he always goes, he always says William in his title, but I've never heard him call himself William. So
Okay.
And he is now, pull up his record. Boy, this is so slow here. As I'm thinking about this, another pipeline for potential leads might be some other advanced manufacturing companies via the European American Chamber. So I'm thinking like Prismium just became a member. That's the old General Cable.
Oh, okay.
They're in Campbell County. We don't really have much presence in Campbell County either.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, not as much. We do, because in terms of, you know, we have quite a few board members who live in Campbell. But if you look at the comparison, we've got 15 people coming from Kenton. And now some of these, there's multiple, as you can see, because there's offices like in multiple locations. But 15 board members have some kind of connection to Campbell. That's half. Only 5 in Campbell. So that would be good. 12
I
in
don't
Boone.
really have great contacts there, but I could talk to Todd Schwartz, the executive director of the European American Chamber,
Okay.
and just describe what we do and how this is kind of like AMIP a little bit, you know, just give him some reference that he might understand, and see if he'd be willing to connect us with some individuals there.
Okay.
Sarah, you don't have me attached to a county. Was that purposeful?
No. Sorry.
Count me as Campbell because I live there, but that's not where actually I do work there 2 days a week too.
Right. I'm going to put you in Boone since that's where your technical office is. John is also listed in Boone. John, do I need to officially move you to Campbell yet, or do you still have your office in Boone?
My office is, I pay Boone County taxes. Thank you very much.
Okay, just checking. Just saying, I normally see that red wall behind you, so I just wasn't sure. Not today. Today you're in a box.
Yeah, I'm literally in a box of nondescript walls.
Oh my
It's,
gosh.
yeah, it needs some art here.
Yeah. Okay, so Kimberly's gonna keep reaching out to Deborah Ramirez and John is gonna talk to Bill Weir and Todd Schwartz
Yeah.
for a connection to, what's the new name of General Cable?
Prismian.
It's hard to say. Prismian.
Okay,
They're Italian.
yeah. Cool. Okay. So between, I mean, we need to, like, we gotta have to. But I would say, if we wanted to get back to past levels, we could have, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So if each one of these leads panned out, it's nice to have a buffer, so that would be fine. The only thing is that would maybe leave us, if we went with all 3 of these, if they all worked, that would maybe leave us without a spot for both Carol and Gallatin. Just something to think about, as we're moving forward. So maybe as we learn things, we can share via email with the group. So if we need to pivot, from one of the plans, we can do that. But I will be really honest with you, it has not been particularly easy to engage with Carol and Gallatin lately, but I'm working on it because it's important. So
Are they feeling like they've been neglected? Is that why? Because you had mentioned about relationships.
Yeah.
Having to mend some relationships.
Yeah, we have learned that some of the staff in Carroll County were not attending meetings that they said that they were.
Ah.
So yeah, people don't tend to like that very much.
Interesting.
So,
Okay.
and then there were some hurt feelings with something that happened with, so one of the Brighton Center staff members, she's pretty young and she's very involved. She's actually on city council for Carrollton. She writes a column about workforce in the Carrollton newspaper, and I believe it's the Leader Democrat, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know, there's really no way to apologize because I can't imagine how she thought this was a good idea. But she promoted for individuals down there to go to Gateway for some welding training. And that might seem very harmless, except for right there in Carrollton is the campus of Jefferson Community and Technical College, Carrollton, which all of the business community members have worked very, very hard to get to Carrollton and are trying to support and grow. So as you might imagine, having someone say go to Gateway did not come across very well. So we have been working ever since we found out about this, Tony, Sloan, and I primarily, but also Eric and Corey from their side to try to rebuild. But it was a major miss. So I think it's going to take some time, just to be honest, to fix that.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And Tara, if I can jump in here, just because I used to work for JCTC.
Yeah.
There has always been like this struggle because of the differentiate bridge between Northern Kentucky's board and the Louisville area board, and they've always kind of been in the middle of all that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of the problem too.
Yeah, well, right, which is why we've been trying so hard to, for the past 2 years, having Lisa Morris, who was really involved in the Forward 42, or Future 42 rather, corridor, was great because she was able to kind of say, hey, you know, I'm involved in this and I'm now involved in the WIB and how do we bring it all together? So it's pretty unfortunate timing that she left because, you know, and she's willing to stay involved. We talked about this last time. But the person that she recommended just wasn't, they just weren't interested or what, you know, weren't available to join the board at this time. John's trying to reconnect, by the way. I'm going to stop sharing so I can make sure that I see him when he rejoins us. But yeah, it's really unfortunate timing for Lisa to be gone in the midst of all of that happening because, yeah, no, I mean, no one likes to feel like they've been forgotten about, you know? So anyway, let me just write back to John. Okay. I'm not sure if he's gonna be, he doesn't know why he lost connections, so I guess we can just keep going. Does anybody else have any, I mean, Anna, did you have anything else about Carol Gallatin? I mean, I totally agree with you. I would just say that we're doing our best to try to, you know, make them feel engaged. It's hard to make somebody feel engaged though, if they feel kind of, I don't know, it takes time. You can't just be like, hey, join the board. I mean, we can, but
Yeah.
like,
No,
eh,
Tara, I didn't
Yeah.
mean any,
yeah,
I
no, I
didn't
don't
mean
think you did.
anything negative about it at all. I just was trying to share information, and
Yeah.
so if it came across that I was being critical,
Oh,
that
no.
was not what I meant, even a little bit.
Oh yeah, no, I don't feel that way. I mean, I think it's absolutely true. It's just, I will just say, I mean, it's a little bit of a frustration while, you know, our team is trying to like, you know, build up that relationship to then have one staff member single-handedly, you know.
Yeah. And then, yeah, it only takes one experience, unfortunately, regardless of the 20 or 50 other positive ones. It only takes one bad one.
Right. Exactly. So, you know, I'll keep working it. They've got Shelby Miles down there. He's doing economic development. And so, you know, I keep trying to reach out to him too and kind of say, hey, you know, we do have some resources that might help and, you know, how can we work together? So
That's what I was just gonna ask if you had talked to Shelby. He's a good guy.
oh, he's a very good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, we have.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's been really supportive. They actually, the Carroll County Development Corporation that he's got so many hats, but he staffs that, and they actually funded a little bit of funding so that the Carrollton Career Center could stay in that location where they were. So he's been really great to work with. Yep. Okay, guys, I don't know if we're gonna get John back. So do you want to talk? He's pretty well aware of Joe Berkeley. Do you guys want to go to that for a minute while we're waiting to see what's going on with him? And we can always come back to the
Sure.
membership thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a couple of really great things about this nomination. One of them is that Dr. Stafford wants to leave and we don't want to have yet another, you know, vacancy. Oh, here's John. Cool. Let me just tell him. It's just okay. Hey, John, we're going to talk about Joe Berkeley for a sec, if that's okay. Still joining audio.
So his, the top part of his nomination form is not filled out, so he would be.
Sorry. He would be in the same, he's from education, so he would take.
Education, yeah.
Yeah, so like number 6 on the grid, where Dr. Stafford was, pretty much Joe Berkeley would just go right in that same spot.
And we're considering him a replacement to Dr. Stafford? Or a new nomination?
I would consider him to be a new nomination only because Dr. Stafford's term expires in 6 months. So, you know, it just seems like it would make sense to just start fresh.
Yeah.
If you guys were okay, that's what I'm proposing. You can vote either way. So speaking of trying to have representation from all 8 of our counties, ever since I started in this role, when I first started, we didn't have anyone from Carroll, which we remedied that at least for a little while with, Lisa, but we have not had anybody from Pendleton County who lives or works in Pendleton County directly this entire time. And I don't know how long it's been. And I've been working with Judge Fields, Bill Mitchell, who recently retired, but he was their community and economic development person. I've talked to several, like their commissioners at a meeting. I mean, a number of things. And we just haven't been able to identify somebody who was able to commit to being on the board. So when Dr. Stafford said that he wanted to retire, I think John talked to Randy Poe, and Randy said, you know who would be great is Joe Berkeley, who's a relatively new superintendent, used to be with Pendleton, and then he went with Campbell for a while. And so Dana, I don't know if you know him.
I don't know him. I'm trying to picture him, and I can't recall.
He was an assistant superintendent. I think he focused maybe on curriculum, if that's right. So I think he wasn't maybe very like publicly out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, he's been with Pendleton now, I think a couple years. Randy mentioned, he sees him being there for a long time. Based on my conversation with him, he wanted to know more about the WIB and how it would benefit Pendleton County. And so he is interested in joining, and I didn't see that he had not filled out the top part of that, but I can make sure that's filled out before the board meeting in January. But anyway, this would kind of fix 2 problems. We would replace Dr. Stafford, or at least, fill that space, and we would end up with someone who's very committed to Pendleton County, who would be able to speak. And he's very focused on thinking about how does his membership impact Pendleton County. So I think he would come like with that voice and that perspective in mind, which I think would be great.
Yeah.
So
Seems like a no-brainer to me.
Sorry about that. I had to restart my phone. I was using my hotspot here.
No problem. Anything you want to jump in there with Joe Berkeley?
No, you certainly covered the highlights on that one.
Okay.
I will echo that he seems very enthusiastic, and Dr. Poe mentioned that his contract was just recently signed, so there should be some stability there as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we need. So yay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yep, for sure.
Okay, so do we need to put the motion forward on this then, Tara?
You do, and what you would be motioning is to send this to the full board for final approval.
I will make that motion. This is Dana.
Thank you, Dana. A second on that motion?
It's Anna. Yes.
I'm sorry, did I hear a second?
I think that was
Anna's
Anna.
on.
It was Anna. Yes, I second it.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I thought you said it was Dana. I was like, yeah, I thought so too. All right.
I know
all those
our
in
names
favor?
are real similar.
I know. I only see like 2 people's faces on my phone here. This is very off-putting, but hey. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, great. So we'll bring that forward at our next full WIB meeting, which is when again, Tara?
It's July. I'm sorry, not July. January 12th.
July 12th.
Thinking about
I was
summer.
like, July is really far out.
Yeah. No.
You didn't hear us complain though.
No, January 12th.
January 12th?
11th.
11th. Yeah. Yeah. It's a Tuesday, Tuesday 11th.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Okay.
Yes.
I am at a advisory board meeting up in Dayton, Ohio that day. So I'll need someone else to fill in for me as the chairperson.
Tell me the date again.
11th. Tuesday, January 11th.
Oh,
9:30 in the morning. Why is it so late?
Because
Of
Eggs and
Issues
Issues,
again?
Eggs and
Yeah.
Issues is changing their date.
I I can do that, John. I'll be there.
Is that the new date for forever now?
No, and I had a conversation with Christy Rogers to ask, is there any way that maybe you can keep it on the same day that you normally have it on? Because you're wrecking my schedule. But I haven't really heard back anything about that. So
It also, I think with the change in eggs and issues, they also moved it to the same day that CLAG, the Campbell County Leadership Group, has their meeting, which I don't know will then conflict with ours as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of conflicts there, but
yeah.
Why did they move theirs?
I heard there was a conflict with with their MC, with Pat Crawley, but I don't know what or why.
I feel like if it would just be nice if there was any chance that it could be like, well, this is the day. And then if that person can't, like, I'm sure there's got to be somebody else that can MC.
Yeah.
But that's easy for me to say. So anyways, but that's why it is so late.
Okay,
Sorry about the
And-
dog.
it's all right. Did the invites for the other dates go out? I don't see those on my calendar.
For the web meetings or for the MBO?
The WIB meetings, I think I see the committee meetings, but I don't think I see the WIB meetings.
Well, they should have, but I will look again and update it.
Okay.
So,
All right.
So let's see. And so then the next one would have been March, right?
Yes,
Second Tuesday.
yes.
I've got it.
Huh. Wonder where mine went.
8th, March 8th at 8:30.
Oh, you know what? Maybe it's blank because I don't have internet. All right, never mind.
Okay,
The-
I will
the-
say
the beauty
that
of
you're
working
on.
in the cloud when you don't have when it's a rainy day. All right.
I will say you're on my list of people who got it and has this little check mark next to your name. So I think it's on your calendar.
All right. Well, I should have actually been concerned when there was nothing on my calendar for that week in March. That's not my calendar.
Right.
Yeah.
My calendar is full of stuff. Okay. All right. So anything else in the agenda, Tara, that we need to cover before we conclude today?
Let me just bring that back up really fast. So we went through the future nominations, the board, openings, the membership grid. We didn't really look at the attendance grid. I feel like some of the changes we've made recently has been helping with that. So I don't know if you want to look at it, I have it available. It's also in your packet that I emailed. I finally learned I got myself an Adobe Acrobat license. So now I can make you guys PDFs and not have to worry as much about your things not opening, which is great. And then John, we have like a couple minutes. Do you want to maybe just, where we are with DEI is I talked to Katrina and she asked me if we could reconvene DEI in January. So I'm working with her to come up with some dates for the DEI committee to get back together and talk about the potential of working with, aligning with, I'm not sure exactly what the language will be, the Chamber's DEI committee. So.
Okay. Is your sense, I guess, what is your sense on that 3-person committee's readiness to move forward? Do we still need to stay engaged from MBO overall, or from my standpoint to
I think
help sort of nudge them forward to?
I think it should stay on the agenda at least for the next little bit, just so it's someone's kind of, spearheading that along. But I feel fairly confident that once we can get that next meeting on the books, that we'll be able to move ahead. So.
Okay.
Yeah. I do think it will be really beneficial to have that all aligned with what the chamber's doing. So we're not trying to recreate everything. So I think that's a bonus. I think we'll just need to make sure we figure out how do we still tackle some of the more sort of internal only type things, like, you know, if we want somebody to kind of read through the RFP, for example, and make sure we have enough of like an equity lens, like, is that something that can be assigned, or is that something that like this small group can kind of maybe handle those kinds of things? As it comes to, you know, then they're working with the bigger group for more sort of community-wide initiatives. So there's just a few things like that that I think we need to figure out, but again, that's on the January agenda, so.
So remind me, did we talk about at the last WIB, did we introduce the concept of pairing with the chambers DEI? I don't remember if that's a new concept or if the WIB is aware of that already. I just don't remember.
We talked about that at the last full WIB meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just
There
thinking
was-
about
we were
John.
rehashing some confusion about subcommittee or full
Yeah.
committee, and I was pretty clear about
Yeah.
because I think the subcommittee of the chamber committee was what confused. I think it was Michelle Sesteric in that case.
Yeah.
But that was the full WIB, so that clarity is there. We just don't. I want to make sure that there's. I mean, I think there should be some form of an update at the WIB meeting.
That's why I'm asking if there's, I mean, you and I can take that offline since you're not going to be there. And if, I just want to make sure that I'm reporting what I need to be reporting with regard to that, unless you want me to kick it over to like Katrina.
Well, I mean, that's really where it should be, is in her court, but she may not be ready to accept the baton yet. So that's where I wanted to realign and I asked for some feedback and didn't get any yet. So the feedback of wanting a meeting in January is, Tara had mentioned that before to me, but so that we're kind of still in a wait and see mode. Tara,
Okay.
who do you plan to invite to that meeting?
Well, based on the way that we left it before, I was thinking it was going to be Katrina, Brent, Gina Stowe, and you, if you're willing, but it doesn't have to be, it could just be the three of them. That's who volunteered to move it forward.
Okay, I think it would be beneficial for me just to continue to sit in on the conversation along with you, because I think you have a really good perspective on the staff plans and how do we make sure that this is serving the organization. Hold on. Bizarre.
Okay. I thought it was
getting a
me.
phone. I was getting a phone call, so I don't even know if that probably muted me. Anyway,
Yeah.
I want to make
was
sure
planning to
that
be there, yeah.
there's some focus on the internal side, which I think you would be best served at doing, and then from how do we communicate with as a board and within the different committees themselves. I want to make sure that they're thinking about that as well. So I do believe my voice would be helpful if, but I don't know how much my schedule will be a problem. So.
Right. No, I get that. So I will draft an email and send it and copy you and to you and Katrina and see if we can get a couple of windows that then we can send to Brent and Gina. So just push that forward again.
Sounds good.
Okay. That was the only remaining item on the agenda for today, other than just attendance. And I feel like the person that's having the largest issue with attendance right now is Dr. Stafford, who has made it clear that he knows that it's a challenge and that's why he wanted to step down. So, you know, I think otherwise we've kind of really improved lately with attendance in most of the groups.
Okay.
Is there an appetite to go back to full in person, or do you think, Tara, it'll continue to be like this, a hybrid, whoever can come on site comes on site and then we still do the Zoom?
Yeah, that's a good
That
question.
poses some technology challenges, I know, for you.
It does. Well, and I did have Clay, our IT director, come to the last meeting that we had, I guess it was the Business Services Committee. And he just came and kind of like helped set up from start to finish and try to help us figure out what was going on with our audio, which was super annoying. So I feel like we have that more covered now. So that's good news. So we're meeting fully virtually today. First of all, it just kind of worked the best for everybody, but also because I can't be in the office today because I have to wait for my test to come back and make sure I can go back to the office. So I'm not sick, but I had a close contact, so I have to quarantine. And I do think that that kind of thing is going to keep happening to people. So I don't know that we're at a point where we can just say like, we're fully in person. And if you make it, cool, because I do think there's enough people who have gotten really used to Zoom and don't necessarily want to, even if it's, I mean, the other thing is too, from a staff standpoint, and so I'm assuming this is happening with other organizations, we're having Zoom after Zoom after Zoom. There's like a whole culture shift back to, oh, I need to schedule travel time to be able to physically get to like an in-person place. So while it would be I love the idea of having all virtual or all in person, because hybrid meetings are not that easy to staff. But my gut, Dana, to answer your question, is that we're going to be doing hybrid for a while.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna, if I can speak up here, this is Anna. I work in Frankfurt, live in Louisville, and I cover 8 different workforce boards. So having the ability to be able to zoom in, I mean, it's priceless to me. And it's not that I don't want to see everybody in person. I 100% do, but I just, there's not enough of me to go around.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I figured. And I think that, I mean, the silver lining is that may be contributing to our attendance, because people who in the past couldn't physically be there when that was the requirement are able now to come, and we can count them. So, I don't have a preference either way. It was just a curiosity for me.
Yeah, I think luckily we've got that nice big TV screen, and I think we'll be doing that for this future. And it is nice because when we are doing recruitment for like Carroll County, I mean, Anna, we love having you there, and like Carroll and Pendleton, for me to be able to say to, Joe Berkeley, like, we want to see you in person. We hope that you will do that. But here's this benefit where you can sign in if you just absolutely can't get away.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, it's an hour and a half each way, and I go to a 1-hour meeting. I mean, there's
like
that's half your day.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to be rude. I promise I'm not. It's just a reality,
Yep, it is for sure.
Yep. So I say hybrid for a while.
Okay.
Forever, probably.
Fair enough.
Yep. John, anything else you need from me? Any new business?
No, I guess the only question that's still lingering in my mind is how much time do we have before the buzzer goes off in terms of compliance?
Yeah, so I am not 100% sure about that. That's why I sent you that email yesterday saying like, I've drafted this. I can ask Frankfurt for some time, or I cannot ask Frankfurt for time and we can just hurry and fill those spots. I'm okay with either way. I can keep looking for I mean, the rule is we got to have 51%, but I can't seem to find the reg on, if you're below that, say you have 30 days or you have 60 or 90, I can't see.
Yeah, what's
Tara,
the
who
consequence?
Are you talking to in Frankfurt?
I normally talk to Rachel Adams.
Okay.
I mean, everybody down there right now is doing disaster recovery. So, I can email her, but I know she's racing, trying to get grants.
Is that something that we regularly report? Like, do they check in on that?
Not often.
So we would have to report to basically and say, hey, we're out of compliance. And so my feeling is let's give ourselves a little bit of time to try to fix it. And then if we can't, then maybe we report that we're out of compliance, but we're working on it. It's, it's not being dishonest. It's just we're legitimately working on it.
We really are. We really, really are. So, yeah. Okay. I'm fine with that.
That's a good plan. Let's stick with that.
Okay.
And it's not as though we're not being transparent about it in this conversation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no.
I feel like we're doing the right thing, but
Yeah.
obviously it's we've got to try to accelerate these efforts. So which is a little bit difficult at this time of the year, but we'll do our best. So I will, I've got a couple breaks, a couple windows tomorrow. I'll see if I can reach out to Todd and Bill at that time.
All right, I
All
gotta
right,
jump.
well,
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
we'll
Dana.
adjourn.
Nice
Thanks
to
very
see
much.
you.
nice
Thank
meeting you,
you.
Simon.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.